Hey, how's it going? I'm Hugs, and today I want to talk about the new 13.4.1 beta changelog thing. I'm pretty sure this is coming to live. If I'm mistaken, then I'm just here to give my thoughts on the changes that they're doing. Um, it's been a while since I've done one of these type of videos, mainly because Northwood hardly ever updates their game, and I want to commentate over patch notes. Um, I know they added an SCP item a little bit ago, but they haven't added it to the game. They're just like in testing phase of it. I can't give my thoughts on that without actually trying it, so that's why I don't do commentation videos about that. But this general gameplay improvements like balance changes is something I can totally do. So I added several new sound effects for 049's abilities. Hit marker indicates different door states. Sure, I haven't heard them. Depends on how annoying they are. Some nice quality of life stuff for muting other spectators. All right, now we're getting to the balance changes for not 049 himself, the zombies, which they do need. You should just rework 049 and his zombies entirely. Trying to balance him is not really going to work out. But this is what they did. Enemies marked by 0 for 9 through good sense of the doctor ability is now also shown to the zombies, which, you know, good. Nice quality of life stuff. The main thing is that the little eye bloodlust thing, the passive when you get when you're chasing someone, the speed is now increased from 5.17 to 4.4 meters a second. And consuming a corpse now maxes out that bloodlust for like 5 seconds and then it starts decaying. So what I'm hoping this change does is that when you eat a corpse, that sort of lost time, like if you run down a straight hallway, right? Like think an entrance and going running all the way down. I'm hoping what this does that if you eat the corpse, it'll greatly reduce the time it takes for you to hit that wall, compared to if you just didn't eat the corpse. Um, the movement speed overall is pretty minor. When you eat the corpse, I doubt it'll do much, but I'm hoping it's enough to where the distance between the two is like greatly shortened. It will be shortened, um, compared to now and or compared to then into now, but I'm hoping it's so much that like you won't get too heavily punished for eating a corpse. Do I think this is going to make zombies fun? Absolutely not. Just a movement speed increase is not going to make some zombies fun at all. I'm seeing YouTube videos, like the titles of them saying, "Oh my gosh, zombies are fun now." No, they're still going to be the same. Nothing's changed about them. They're still going to be boring to play, miserable to play. At least in my opinion. SCP-096. For whatever reason, they decided to nerf SCP-096 as if he's not already the worst SCP in the game. And I'll go over why he's the worst SCP in the game after I read these balance changes. So, while enraged, his screams are now farther away. I'm not sure if it's a bug or this is intended, but if you don't have direct line of sight with 096 and you're not in the same room as him, his cries are like completely quiet. Like it's impossible to hear. It's not even, oh, you have to listen in really closely. They just don't happen in general. I'm not sure if that's a bug or if that's intended. If that's a bug, they need to fix it. If that's intended, they need to revert it where you can hear it proxy. But regardless, they made it so you can hear further away. So hopefully that fixes the problem of not being able to hear at all. Docile movement speed increased to 3.9, aka normal human walking speed, from 3.64 meters a second, which is good. Nice little quality of life thing. 096 was the slowest SCP in the game. And 90% of the game you were at 3.6.4. So a nice little quality of life. I would prefer if he moved slightly faster than human walking speed. But that's just me. Now, the real juicy stuff. Damage nerfs. So 096 two shots his targets, right? So if they just stay the same, it's still gonna two shot him. So left mouse button during rage now deals 60 damage from 85, so it's 25 less damage. And then non-targets hit by charge now receive 35 damage from 45. The non-targets hit by charge being 35, I'm actually a fan of. I thought it was a little too punishing just by randomly getting 45 damage. So definitely 35s is around a good spot. I would have it. Maybe 30, but 35 is good for now. I have to test it. The less mount button duration is not going to do much. I'm 90% sure it's not even affected by armor. So, like, if you have heavy armor, you're still going to die in two shots. The only time this would ever do anything is if you popped an adrenaline, which it's a nerf he doesn't need, but how many times it would actually happen is so, like, minuscule. Like, it's not even worth it. But there's also the blue candy as well. I feel like it should be 65 damage, maybe 70. If they were to nerf it, I don't feel like it needs a nerf, because of how weak he actually is right now. But if they really were wanting to nerf it, it should go from maybe 60 to 65 or 70, just so it's still two shots in most scenarios, and not three shotting in like maybe 20-30% of the scenarios. And then for whatever reason he gets a nerf to his health too. as if that was the problem with him. An initial Hume reduced to 450 from 600. Max Hume reduced to 900 from 1200. Hume no longer halves during rage nor doubles when exiting, which I don't know why that was the thing in the game. I prefer that to be gone. Hume regen delay increased to 15 seconds from 10, so it takes 5 seconds longer to start regenerating your shield. And right-clicking the wall doubles the amount regeneration by twice. So the right-clicking a wall and receiving more regeneration, that's cool. That's fine. But why did they nerf his health? Why? Or not his health, but why did they reduce his shield? There was no point. After he comes out of his rage, it's very, very easy to kill him. Now sure, if it's just you by yourself and you don't have like a micro and like a light bulb, it can be pretty challenging, but even then you wouldn't even try to kill him at that point. You would just wait for more people. So 096 getting a health decrease doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Instead, what I'd wish they do was remake 096 in some way, or even just remove him from the game and replace him with another SCP. Because the problem with 096 is that people who understand the game and know how to play efficiently, if they know he's in the game, they will just look straight down the entire game and never have to deal with him. And that's not even a big deal, because you can look down at an angle where you're still seeing a lot of stuff, but you're not looking and triggering 096. So they either need to rework him in some way where he can do more stuff, or they need to just replace him entirely. Because 096, the entire game is just walking around, not really doing anything. And the last 10% of the game is just him having the best ability in the game. He's the weakest SCP, because 90% of the game you're just doing nothing, but that 10% of the SCP of the game makes him scary. But even then, you just look down, people who understand the game will just do that. I don't know why they nerfed him. He was already the weakest as is. I'm gonna have to test these to see how much it matters by 300. They should have at least buffed his health a little bit if they were going to reduce the Hume shield, but they just didn't do it. They just nerfed the Hume shield and just said, screw you, we're just making 096 more miserable to play. Which is definitely not the direction they want to go. 939. Base health was increased from 2,700. They don't say from. I think it was like something like what? 2,200? 2,500? I'm not sure what it was. Regardless, 2,700 is a lot of HP. Even stacking on top of the Hume Shield at the start of the game, you'll have like 3,000 HP, which is a lot of HP. He's now the second tankiest SCP compared to Peanut. And he'll also probably be the hardest to kill because he has that sprint movement speed thing. While Peanut just has to stand there for like a couple seconds. So I think 939 will be a lot more difficult to kill. But they sort of try to balance it out by reducing the stamina to 10 seconds, which was from 13. And then the sprint reduced by like 0.2 meters. The stamina reduced, I'm definitely a fan of, because it felt like majority of the time 939 was like right behind you, and nothing you could do would like further the distance between you two. All you had to do was just close doors on him, which made it, I don't know how to say this. He was right behind you majority of the time with 13 seconds of stamina usage. But you would never really die to him if he was just by himself, because you could just keep closing doors on him. So it's sort of a 50-50. I'm going to just blame it on terrible map design. They need to fix the map design if they want to balance SCPs properly. But that's a discussion for another day. And then the sprint speed reduced by 0.2 meters. Not really a big deal. People are hardly going to notice it. It's not big enough to where it would make a difference in any scenario. So, sure. And then his abilities. His Mimicry gets a cooldown from to 3 seconds from 10, which I'm a fan of. There's not really a way to play 939, but what I like to do is just put his Mimicry in one spot and then go to the other spot, so that way they think I'm over there when I'm actually right on top of them. So then making that more accessible, sure. His claw speed attack reduced to 0.8 seconds from 0.6 seconds, which I'm actually a fan of. You would die in like not even 2 seconds from his attack, and you could, like, by the time that happened, you couldn't even get to like a door or anything to close on him. So 0.6 more seconds is actually quite significant. So it goes from a 1.8 time to kill from to a 2.4 time to kill, which is actually good. This active generators, now ripples, to make spotting them easier or to distract 939. It depends how much it ripples and how noticeable that generator would be. If it's like every second, like the normal movements, walking speeds, if it's like that and that does it every second, that's going to be annoying as crap, and they need to remove it immediately. If it's actually a tiny ripple, like maybe once every like 3 seconds, that's okay. It better not be every second, because that would be annoying as crap for 939 players. Computer. 2 level rooms connected by an elevator like Warhead or 049s. Now have a small icon on the map that allows them to travel directly to the subroom. So basically what that means is if you're on your map thing and you want to go to upper 049's room, what you have to do now is go to the 049's room and then click the camera icon on top to head up. But now you can just go into the map and press it and you get sent out. Disable the beam to jump from one zone to another using the movement keys. It can be changed back via the settings, which I'm a fan of because I accidentally, because I use the movement keys to go around. Depending on how sweaty I'm playing, I'll use the actual tab button to move around because it's just faster. So if you prefer moving floors with keys, you could just revert it back. Back end stuff, I'm not really going to talk about. So yeah, that's it. I really feel like they need to rework 096 in some way, or just replace him with another SCP, but keep him in the admin console. Um, 096 is sort of terribly designed in the fact that you have to be looked at in order to do anything to that just one person. And when everyone understands the game, they just look down the entire time and you just feel useless. The worst feeling in the game is when you're supposed to be a big scary monster and some guys just, like an entire group of people are just looking down, running right by you, and you can't really do anything. That's the worst feeling in the game. And that's why he's the most boring SCP in the game to play. So I don't know how they're gonna fix it. In my opinion, it might just be easier to just replace them with an SCP entirely. But that's just me. All right, thanks for watching.